Previously on Azusa's YouTube. The reason I know this is what's been driving key prices is that the timing actually lines up. You can see that the first drop in the key price happened right around the time there was a drop in the exchange rate on June 26, and this pattern continues. There was another drop on the 27th that was mirrored by key prices, which is a pretty strong indicator that it's a Pakistani currency, not key resellers, that are driving prices here. The correlation is just too strong to be a coincidence. Hi, I'm Jesus, and this is awkward, isn't it? So it turns out it actually was a coincidence. So I put up a video yesterday saying that key prices were falling partly due to people reselling to get Steam levels during the summer sale, but primarily due to a fall in the value of the Pakistani rupee. And as some people were quick to point out to me, there was a small problem in my conclusion. So you can see it at the top here. Currencies where Steam doesn't have local pricing. Pakistan. Yeah, Steam doesn't support the Pakistani rupee. So that whole section that I put up on the Pakistani rupee yesterday was wrong. Completely wrong. And given it's now been watched by 70,000 people and counting, well, I should probably address things. Now, going in, I have to say that I feel like I've gotten off pretty lightly here in some respects. The reception to the video has been overwhelmingly positive. People clearly enjoyed it. YouTube buried the comments pointing out my mistake because that's what their algorithm does, and even the CSGO Market subreddit let me off pretty lightly. I thought Growling Bear would be in there roasting my ass, but apparently not. But I don't feel like brushing over this. I want to actually have a look at how I missed it, because the problem wasn't that I hadn't heard of this page here. I had, and if I'd bothered to check it, well, I wouldn't have come unstuck. So why didn't I? Well, the answer is mostly confirmation bias, and I'll explain how I came unstuck during the research process, because it's actually a good example of how you can make mistakes when dealing with these sorts of things. And I essentially got caught off guard by three things. First of all, when I was initially looking into the drop in the key prices by finding the profiles of people selling these discount keys to see if any particular nationality stands out, I noticed that 3 of the 6 accounts I looked at were Pakistani. Now, I didn't think anything of this immediately. I figured it was just random chance, and in hindsight, it was random chance, in all honesty. But then I went and tweeted about it because I wanted to skip doing some research myself because I'm a lazy bastard, and somebody tweeted this at me. Can I just say that I don't like cunt anymore? It totally led me astray. No, I'm kidding actually. This is entirely on me. But when this guy tweeted at me about the exchange rate, well, suddenly things linked together in my head. I'd seen a couple of Pakistani accounts selling keys, and the Pakistani exchange rate is falling. So I went to see whether the timing lined up. And unfortunately for me, the timing actually lined up okay as well. There were a number of points where the key price looked like it was moving in line with the exchange rate, particularly when the price first dropped. And sure, it didn't perfectly explain the price movements either, but I already knew that a lot of people were reselling keys to level up their Steam account through the summer sale. So it didn't need to perfectly explain the price movements. I didn't even expect it to. I knew there was another factor at work, and putting that together, I figured I had pretty good evidence that the Pakistani rupee was making key prices fall. Everything seemed to check out, so I just ran with it. What were the odds I could be wrong, right? Why bother checking the master source? The video was running late as it was. I wanted to get it out, and it seemed like there wasn't going to be any factual problems. But obviously I was wrong. It actually was just a coincidence. I was reading each bit of evidence, all of which was ambiguous in its own right, in a way that confirmed the conclusion I wanted to reach, which is an easy mistake to make, and I made it. I didn't do my due diligence. The source was there. I could have checked, and I didn't, and now I look slightly stupid as a result. So this is a bit awkward. I said in that video the Pakistani currency was affecting key prices. It wasn't. I was wrong. But there is a secondary part to this story, because the real reason key prices are falling, and I think it's fairly clear that this is the reason they're falling at this point, is people who are buying keys in-game and then reselling them on the Steam market and then repeating the process to get points to level up their account via the Summer Sale Grand Prix. And I did cover it in the video as a secondary factor. Ironically, because I explained it first, you can actually end the video at 3 minutes 11 seconds and cut out all the Pakistani stuff and get an accurate description of what's going on. A small comfort to me, I guess, but I wanted to bring this up for another reason, because a good friend of mine actually showed me something that isn't quite an out of kilter exchange rate per se, but it is the next best thing. So I thought this might be a good chance to bring it up and maybe even retain a little bit of dignity. So if you were to have a look at the ongoing Grand Prix event in Australia, you would notice that Valve is rewarding you with 70 points for every Australian dollar you spend, which is the equivalent of 100 points for every US dollar you spend. Now, this is the same thing in Poland with the Polish currency. If you convert it to US dollars, you're getting about 104 points for the equivalent of every $1 US dollar you spend. So that sounds fair, right? There's a small exchange rate difference there, but it's fairly close. You can see what Valve's trying to do. Now, here's the same page from a country to the east of Poland, although the language is quite helpfully set to English here. So some of you no doubt recognize this currency, and for those who don't, well, I'll just say that the president of this country really likes his shirtless photo ops. But anyway, maybe I've messed up my math, but when I convert that to US dollars, well, they're getting the equivalent of 370 points for every US dollar they spend. So 3.7 times more than Poland and Australia. And I don't know about you, but that looks like a bit of a discrepancy. The main explanation I can think of is that this may be due to regional pricing. As I understand it, Steam games are cheaper in this unnamed country, so maybe the points you get was scaled accordingly. Either way though, it is hard for me to test this because I'm in Australia, so I'm going to hand this over to the public. Since this video is kind of about verifying things properly, I thought it's a good point to end on. I'm interested to see if this is consistent with the discount on games in this unnamed country with a shirtless president. Please let me know in the comments, I would like to find out. And with that, I'll wrap up the video. Thank you very much for watching and putting up with my various screw-ups. If you enjoyed this vid, please like, comment, subscribe. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Jesus. Thanks for watching. See ya.